Welcome in to the KO Brothers DFS podcast, Week 10 DFS picks. Now, I want to clear up a little discrepancy. Today, we were supposed to announce the winner of the authentic Randy Moss jersey. There's one problem. We do have subscribers. We entered them in the contest. The problem is, you guys are on private. I can't see any of your information. I can't see your username or anything. So please, if you have subscribed to the podcast, please make yourself public in lieu of private. Because when it's private, I can't see any information and I can't announce a winner. It shows right now that we have subscribers. They're all private. There's only one that's public, and it's this guy right here. So please, if you have subscribed, please make yourself public. And to all you new subscribers out there and you new listeners, all you have to do is smash that subscribe button, like the episode, and you will be in the drawing for the Randy Moss jersey, which we will be giving it away next Thursday live on the podcast. Jonathan, how are we feeling about this Week 10 slate?
Yeah, man. I don't really know. I feel you could go either way. Pay up at running back, pay up at receiver, pay up at quarterback, whatever you want to do. But me personally, I'm looking to pay up at the running back position. You got Kareem Hunt, Melvin Gordon, James Conner, all great options this week.
Yeah, I agree. I personally don't like this slate too much. There's only a handful of running backs. Actually, there's a ton of running backs I like. A handful of receivers, not too many tight ends, and only a couple quarterbacks I like, which is where we are going to start. Jonathan, where are you starting at quarterback for Week 10?
If I'm paying up at a quarterback, I'm looking at Drew Brees playing Cincinnati, the fourth worst against the quarterback position. And let's be honest, Drew Brees, he's
highest completion percentage in the league.
Yeah, Hall of Famer playing in the league right now. I mean, what really can you say about Drew Brees? He goes out there, puts it all on the field every week.
So you're fading Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers for Drew Brees? Mahomes, he's facing Arizona.
Mahomes, yeah.
And yeah, I am fading Mahomes. In Mahomes' last 4 games, he has had 29 fantasy points per game. He's averaging over 350 passing yards and 3.3 touchdowns, along with 20 rushing yards, which is 2 points. Now that's in his last 4. But Arizona is 31st against the run, but they're 7th against the pass. Me personally, I'm fading Mahomes for Aaron Rodgers. Believe it or not, Aaron Rodgers is only averaging 6 less DFS points than Mahomes, and Mahomes has been on fire this year. And Aaron Rodgers ain't too far behind him, and he's $1,200 less than Mahomes on both slates, on DraftKings and on FanDuel. I will save the $1,200. I will pay down for Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees. I think it's a great take on Drew Brees. I do think Aaron Rodgers does have a better matchup. 23rd best Miami against the pass. Yeah, I think they're both great plays. Where else we going? What else you got for me?
If you want to pay down and save some money, I like Baker Mayfield again this week.
Ooh, Baker. I love Baker this week. That's my boy.
He's playing Atlanta, who's been terrible against every position this year.
5,400 on DraftKings.
And they're coming out with a new look offense. They looked good last week. Jarvis did get hurt last week, but he's still playing. No, not on the injury report, so you don't got to be worried about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said last week, Atlanta allowing a 70% completion rate in coverage, 8 yards per attempt, and a 6.1 touchdown rate. I said it last week, and you were the one that said, nope, Alex Smith ain't doing that. They haven't allowed, remember, a quarterback to score outside the top 10. Well, this week, I think, in a way, Atlanta's defense gets back on track, however you want to say that. I think to get back on track, I think Baker Mayfield is a fantastic pay down at quarterback. I do think he definitely bounces back, and Atlanta's defense, in a sense, bounces back in a bad way against Baker Mayfield. What else? Anything else at quarterback?
That's really about it.
Carson Wentz? Fitzmagic?
Fitzmagic's always a good
Trubisky?
one. I like Trubisky. I like Fitzmagic. I don't like Wentz.
I like Wentz.
Rivers.
He's home against Dallas. He's got the addition of Golden Tate. He's averaging 220 passing yards per game and 23 fantasy points. He's only 5,700 on DraftKings and 7,400 on FanDuel. He is a nice middle-of-the-road quarterback. I'm really excited to see what he's going to do with Golden Tate in that offense against Dallas. Like I said last week, Dallas keeps everything in front of them. That favors Golden Tate. Who's better than Golden Tate at going over the middle, catching those balls, and taking them to the house?
Odell.
Okay, so outside Odell, biased Giant fan. You guys got that.
Biased.
Right?
He's the best at
Now,
play around.
Other than Golden Tate's number 2. I'll take it. Ryan Fitzpatrick, that is my quarterback KO pick of the week. He's at home against Washington. He did, I guess, not really bounce back, but he did play 2 half games. He did have 4 touchdowns last week against Carolina, and he has an even better matchup at home against Washington. Since Washington's Week 4 bye, they have allowed a minimum of 250 passing yards per game, and Fitzmagic is averaging 31.8 fantasy points per game. He's a great value. He's 5,900 on DraftKings, 7,600 on FanDuel. You can't go wrong with Fitzmagic this week. Anything else for the quarterback slate before we move on?
Yeah, if you're getting desperate, you could throw in some Josh McCown action.
Oh God, no, I don't think that's a good play against Buffalo.
How much is he? I can't even find him.
You can't find. He's like way down there because he was a backup. So Darnold was a late add to the injury report. So he's going to be way down on the slate. I don't even have him on my sheet. He's so far down.
He's not on my sheet.
Here he is, 4,300 on DraftKings. So he's probably going to be around 4,500, maybe 5,000 on FanDuel. I guess if you're desperate, that's definitely a GPP play. I'm off that. Like I said, if I'm paying down for quarterback, I'm going Baker Mayfield all the way.
What about Eli Manning on Monday night?
No. Worst offense in the league. I do not trust them. I think Barkley is in for a huge day, and that is where we are going to pivot to. We're going to go to running back. Speaking of Saquon Barkley at home against San Francisco, he's averaging 22 touches in the last 3 weeks, and get this, 9 catches a game. That's 9 points if you're playing on DraftKings extra, and 4.5 if you're playing on FanDuel. Saquon Barkley, I know he's expensive, and I know this isn't much of a take, but if you're playing cash games, Barkley is a must play. He's 8,600 on FanDuel, and he's 8,600 on DraftKings. So he's the same price on both slates. What do you got for me at running back, Jonathan?
I like Melvin Gordon. He's also my KO pick of the week. He's playing Oakland. He's been a beast last week, coming off injury. Had about 20 points in half PPR formats. This week he's only got healthier. He's playing a worse team. I don't see any reason why he doesn't go back to the old Melvin Gordon before his injury and goes off for 30 points. Yeah,
they are bottom 5 in rushing yards in the league. They've allowed the 4th most rushing yards per game. They're allowing 4.8 yards per carry. I know Melvin Gordon is generally a low yard per carry running back, but Oakland is a shit show. It's a 50-point over/under. They're a negative. They're a road favorite. 10-point road favorite. I mean, that's crazy. So I do think they are going to ride Melvin Gordon to a big win in Oakland. What else you got for me at the running back position?
Around the same price range, I like Kareem Hunt. I mean, obviously, he's been a complete monster. Playing Arizona is one of the worst.
They are the worst defense.
They are the worst.
They are the worst defense against the run. Yep. Worst defense against the run.
9,000.
8,500 on FanDuel. DraftKings.
9,000
on FanDuel. Yeah, it's a good play.
Not really much you can say about Hunt.
Yeah, Hunt's a beast. Not much you can say. You're right. I mean, everyone knows Kareem Hunt. I do want to say a quick, if you're going to pay up, so obviously this is a pay up slate, Todd Gurley. I just want to give you guys a fun fact about Todd Gurley. In Todd Gurley's last 2 games against Seattle, guess how many touchdowns he has?
In combined 2 games?
Combined 2 games. 7.
Oh.
7 touchdowns in 2 games. Most running backs don't have 7 touchdowns in a season. 2 games. Gurley's a beast. Gordon's a beast. Barkley's a beast. Hunt's a beast. Those are all must plays. I would try to pair 2 of them if you can. I don't know if there's much value to be had at wide receiver, but you can always throw in a cheap defense, a cheap tight end. You can bottom out your quarterback if you want to get those 2 in your lineup. Other than those top dogs, where else you going at running back if I want to save some money?
I love Duke Johnson this week if you want to save some money. Last week he finally got his opportunity with the new offense, and he looked great. Had about 15, 20 fantasy points. He's playing Atlanta, like we said, they're a terrible defense. He's 5,600 on FanDuel, so if you want to take 2 big running backs and throw him in your flex, save a lot of money, I think you'd be very good with that option.
Yeah. I also that's a great take. Also, I think 2 other running backs you can pay down for is Matt Breida, 5,000 on DraftKings, 5,900 on FanDuel. The New York Giants, sorry, Giant fans and Jonathan, but the Giants are allowing over 120 rushing yards per game. And Breida, when he's healthy, I know that every week he looks like he goes down with a devastating injury, but if he's healthy, he stays in, he's over 15 touches a game.
No Mozart anymore.
Huh? Yeah, no Raheem Mostert. I think he's a very good cash play. Jordan Howard, I think he's a great play against Detroit, 30th best against a run defense. They're allowing 142 rushing yards per game, and believe it or not, everyone's saying that Jordan Howard is about he's about 50% of the snaps, but he's getting 18 touches in the last 3 games. So I think against Detroit, 4,700 on DraftKings, 6,500 on FanDuel. He's a little pricey on FanDuel, so he's more of a DraftKings play. Howard, GPP, cash. I'd get Howard in that lineup. I mean, I'm starting him in every season league I have. I think he's a great play. I think he's a lock for at least a touchdown.
Would you rather Howard or Tariq Cohen? They're like
Jordan Howard,
difference
because Detroit's 30th best against the run. So allowing 142 yards, I think this is a Jordan Howard game. Yeah, Tariq Cohen had a bad game last week. I'm not worried about that. I don't chase points, and I don't, this guy's got a bad game, so let me play him this week. I'm not that type of player. I play where the matchups take me, and the matchup takes me right up Jordan Howard's alley this week. If I'm paying down for running back, he's a nice flex option in cash, a nice starting option in GPPs. What else you got for me at the running back position? How do you like Fournette? He's back this week.
No, I'm not paying.
You're not playing on Fournette.
He's still 7,000. So I don't trust him unless he proves to me this week. Once I see something out of him, I'll put him in.
I actually think Fournette, that makes Fournette a great GPP play. I think he's a very good GPP play this week. Indianapolis is allowing over 100 rushing yards on the ground, and we all know if Fournette's healthy, he's a beast. He's 6,300 on DraftKings. He's 7,000 on FanDuel.
Yep.
I really don't see him getting less than 15 touches. So I do think he's a very good GPP play. In that same range, he is questionable. Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack, since he has came back, he's been an absolute beast. He's averaging over 20 touches a game, and the Colts run the 10th most offensive plays. They are home. They are against Jacksonville, who is a good defense, but guess what? They're good against the pass. They're first against the pass. They're 24th against the rush. And like I said, past 2 weeks, he's averaging 29 points, fantasy points per game. So I think Marlon Mack is a great cash play. He's also a good GPP play. You can take it to the house on any play. Anything else from the running back position before we move on?
I like Mike Davis only if Chris Carson doesn't play.
If Chris Carson doesn't play, sure.
Whenever Davis got the workload, he showed he performed. He actually looks like a good running back when he gets the workload that they give him. I think it's a great play. Back when they had Lynch and he filled in for him, he looked similar to
He's
Lynch.
definitely the better running back. They just love Chris Carson. I do think Mike Davis, a nice pay down play. What do you think, cash, GPP? Too risky for cash, GPP?
If Carson is out, I'd play him in both.
Nice.
No doubt.
Yeah, I like that. What do you think about your boy? I know you were on him at the beginning of the year. What do you think about David Johnson this week against Kansas City? Worst defense in the league. They're allowing 5.2 yards per carry. He's only 6,900 on FanDuel, 6,800 on DraftKings. What do you think of David Johnson this week? Let's say if you don't want to pay up for Barkley, Gordon, Gurley, Hunt, is David Johnson in your cash game lineups this week?
Yeah, I could see you throwing him in there. He's only 6,900, which is kind of crazy to think about because he was top 3 pick.
He's been a top 5 pick the last however many years. Other than that broken wrist year, he's always a top 5 fantasy pick in season-long leagues.
So, yeah, I know it's going to be hard to trust him, but, I mean, coming in under 7,000, I don't think. Why not?
Why not? If you don't want to pay up, if you can't afford these other running backs, I do think David Johnson is a great play. Anything else before we move on?
Yeah, that's good for me.
All right, moving on to wide receiver. One more thing I do want to say. Aaron Jones. He is 6,500 on FanDuel. He's averaging double-digit touches. I think the Packers are in a great game script against Miami. I do think they single-handedly take the lead in this game. Miami's defense started out good, but they have been a shit show the last couple of weeks. They're 28th best against run. Terrible. I do think, you want a middle-of-the-road guy. You don't necessarily want to pay up. You don't want to pay down. You want to stay kind of safe for cash. I think Aaron Jones is a nice, safe, another, safe play at running back this week. Moving on to wide receptors. What do you got for wide receptor this week?
If I'm paying up, I like Michael Thomas. Obviously, I got Drew Brees as my quarterback. So, I said they were fourth worst against the quarterback position. So, Michael Thomas is definitely in for a big workload. Last week, he had over 200 yards and a touchdown. So, coming off that week, he's got to feel good. So, yeah, I definitely...
There's not much you can say about Michael Thomas.
Yeah,
he has above a 95% catch rate. That is insanity, and he's averaging double-digit targets. You pretty much can lock him in for 10 catches.
Yeah.
I mean, they are on the road, and Drew Brees is more of a home player, but I think Michael Thomas is absolutely... If you're paying up for wide receiver,
that's my favorite.
Michael Thomas is a must play. Now, if you do want to save a few dollars, I think Devontae Adams is also a good play. I do like Aaron Rodgers this week. Like I said, I'd fade Mahomes. I would pay up for Rodgers. And if I decide to lock in 2 cheap running backs, if I had to lock in Breida and Howard, and I want to pay up for Michael Thomas, I think a good pair with him is Devontae Adams.
Michael Thomas and Devontae Adams are the same price on FanDuel.
They're the same price on FanDuel, so they're $300 difference on DraftKings. He's averaging double-digit targets and 18 fantasy points per game. So that's a decent play to pair up with Rodgers if you like to pair up QB and receiver, which is one thing is a must play for me. If you're a must cash, I do stack in my strategies. I do stack quarterback and wide receiver, and if you're playing Aaron Rodgers, you gotta pair him up with Devontae Adams. Or if you don't like Devontae Adams and you are playing Aaron Rodgers in cash, MVS Marcus Valdez-Scantling, only 5,400 on DraftKings. He's averaging 8 targets. Get this, he's averaging 8 targets, 80 yards, and 0.5 touchdowns in his last 4 games. That's great. No Geronimo Allison, out for the year. He's having stomach surgery. They're 22nd against the pass, Miami. I think it's a great, I guess it's safe to say I'm on the Packers this week. I very rarely like to pay up, get a stack like that. I think the Packers are in a great game script, and you can play them all over the field. What else you got for me at wide receiver?
I like Tyler Boyd. He's 7,800. I mean, AJ Green is out for a few weeks, and the Saints have the worst defense to the wide receiver position.
Second worst. 31st, yeah. Which is, once you get in that bottom 3, it's nuts, yeah. They're the 31st ranked defense against the pass. I like that pick. My only problem is Marshawn Lattimore is still there. I know he's been struggling, but Tyler Boyd isn't exactly a number 1 wide receiver. Or I guess maybe it's safe to say we'll see. I think the play is John Ross. I know, John Ross. But I do think John Ross is a great GPP play this week. They're going to need big plays to keep up with the New Orleans Saints. They're going to, if they want any chance of winning this game, which I don't think they have a chance to win this game.
Yeah.
But if they're still an NFL team, and if they want a chance to win, I really do think John Ross is a good shot to get a touchdown this week. I think he's a great GPP play. I think that Tyler Boyd's just a little too pricey for me. I'm not sure if he can hang
he's a little expensive.
Being a wide receiver 1 this week. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I could be wrong, but I don't know if Tyler Boyd has it. If in that range, not quite, a little bit cheaper, he's $400 cheaper, I think Keenan Allen is a great play this week. They're facing Oakland. They are on the road, but he's averaging 8 targets in his last 4 games. They're bottom 5 D overall, Oakland. Like I said, Oakland is a shit show. Bottom 5 overall. I think Keenan Allen, he's safe to play in cash, and he's a great GPP pick. He hasn't had that blow-up game. When you think Keenan Allen, you think of, maybe 3 to 4 blow-up games a week where he's getting you 30 or 40 points. I think this week could be it.
Keenan Allen's cheaper on DraftKings. You said?
Keenan Allen is 7,100 on DraftKings. From Tyler Boyd. Yeah, Tyler Boyd 75, and Keenan Allen 71.
On FanDuel, Keenan Allen is 79 and Boyd 78.
Okay, so they're right there.
Same.
So I would rather Keenan Allen. We know he's a number 1. I know Phillip Rivers is definitely spreading that ball, and Tyreek is a great middle-of-the-road pick, and if you want to save, I definitely think Mike Williams is a great play. I think Chargers win this game single-handedly. However, if I'm playing anyone from the Chargers game, it is Keenan Allen and Melvin Gordon. I mean, but if you want to pay down, I do think they're going to win this game pretty handily. What else? What else you got for me at wide receiver?
Josh Gordon finally coming alive.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
we know. You don't have to say it, viewers. We know he's in love with Josh Gordon. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, well, when my boy does good, it makes me puts a smile on my face.
Look, everybody's got their players in fantasy. Whether you play DFS, whether you play season, everybody's got their my guys. Everybody's got their my guys, and Josh Gordon's is my guy. So it's not a bad player to die on a hill.
Yeah.
That's the the sayings. Not a bad hill to die on.
Yeah. Last week he had over 100 yards and a touchdown. This week he's playing a worse team, Atlanta. They're the 3rd worst against the receiver position, coming in at 6,700. I don't think you go wrong with Josh Gordon again this week, but
no, I think it's a good pick. He's like I said, the trust is growing. Edelman is questionable. I think he is going to play, but I mean, if Edelman doesn't play, forget it. Josh Gordon should be in every lineup. He's an absolute must play. Someone a little cheaper than Josh Gordon, in that same range, a little cheaper. I love my Cooper Kupp, man. He's healthy. He's back from injury. He's averaging he's averaging over 8 targets. I love my Cooper Kupp. What do you think of Amari Cooper? Against Philly, he had 8 targets last week, 2 red zone targets. One of them was on Dak's pick, but he did force it in double coverage. They're the 25th best pass defense. How you looking with Amari Cooper this week? Cash, GPP, or he's a total... Bleh?
I don't feel that bad about Cooper this week. I mean,
why not?
In his debut with the Cowboys, he actually looked good. They were getting him involved, something Oakland wasn't doing. Like with Cooper's first 2 years in his career, you could tell that he was a good receiver. He had talent, and he just fell off, which means that Oakland wasn't using him right. And Dallas, when they came out last week, they looked like they knew what they were doing with him. So I could see you putting him in the lineup here or there.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want a quarterback to force the ball, but when you have that receiver, you want him to force the ball.
They need their number 1
receiver. Yeah, they need that number 1. Dak's definitely forcing the ball his way. Against Philly, they're going to have to score. I think Philly's going to demolish them. So, and Philly is home, so I do think they're going to be from behind, throwing the ball. I think Cooper gets at least 8 targets. He got 8 targets last week. He gets 8 targets again. A couple of honorable mentions before we move on. I have Deshaun Jackson. Now, D-Jax...
Oh, your boy.
I hate Deshaun Jackson. But Deshaun Jackson is a very emotional player. He is up and down, but I do think he's saving up to play in cash because he is emotional, and I think he hated playing for Washington. And he's a player that plays off emotion. I think Djax is a decent play this week. In GPPs, not cash. But in cash, if you want to pay down, Christian Kirk, 5,400 on FanDuel, and 4,900 on DraftKings. He's dirt cheap, 28th best pass defense. He's averaging 7 targets. He's playing 75 to 80% of the snaps. And get this, crazy stat when I looked it up. Christian Kirk has a 91.2% catch rate. True catch rate. So, like, that doesn't include, like, overthrows or interceptions. So if the ball is in catchable vicinity, that it's a true catch rate. It's a little different than Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas catches 95% of the balls, whether they're overthrown or not, which is crazy. But a true catch rate is something that is a catchable ball. And he's got still 91.2%. That ranks among the top 15 in wide receivers. So I think he's a great play. 7 targets, 80% of the snaps. It's a great pay down play in cash. Before we move on to tight end, is there anything about wide receiver?
If you want to save some money in GPP games, I like Jordan Nelson this week at $5,000 playing the Chargers.
Oh, God. You're going with Oakland, the shit show?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
GPP only, though, not
Proceed with caution.
GPP.
When playing anyone in Oakland outside Jalen Richard is getting like 27 targets.
30 points this week.
30 points for
Jordy
Nelson. Okay, you heard it here first. I don't think that's coming true, though. On that note,
if it does,
we're going to move on to tight ends. What do you got for me at tight end for this Week 10 slate?
I like, where's my guy? CJ Uzama. We were saying before, no AJ Green. I know you don't like this man. He is questionable, so if he does play, I think he's in for definitely an increased workload. He's big body. They need a red zone guy because John Ross is not going to be a red zone guy. I just tell you.
No, John Ross is a deep threat.
So if you're looking for touchdown dependency, I think you could go with Uzama.
Yeah, they should be in the red zone this week, and Mixon is their usual red zone threat, but New Orleans has the best run defense. I mean, they shut down Todd Gurley to 79 yards. He did have a touchdown, and that's like a bad game.
Yeah, Todd Gurley had 15 points, and that's like
and that's like the worst game he's had all season. But I mean, Mixon is, I do think, a top 5 talent, but I do think he struggles against New Orleans. Like I said, they still haven't allowed a running back to run over 80 yards, and if Gurley doesn't go 80 yards, no one else is going against 80 yards. So I do think if they do get in the red zone, I think without AJ Green, where else are you going to go?
Yeah.
You know? That's a great take at tight end. However, I've said it every single week. I'm not even going to say it. We all know where I'm going at tight end. We're going to George Kittle. I was offered, I know one of my listeners out there, I was offered a trade, Gronk, for George Kittle, and I declined 100%. I think George Kittle, I don't care if Mullins or whatever the hell his name is the quarterback, even rest of the season.
It actually looked not that bad.
He's actually had a good game. They're against the Giants, who, I'm sorry, but they're one of the worst teams in the league. Defense, offense, whatever you point out, they're in the bottom. They're in the bottom. You look at every single category, they're in the bottom.
Not for defense.
They are. They're 17th. That's in the bottom half. 17th overall defense, that's in the bottom half. And that's against tight ends. So I think George Kittle, he's still only 5,900. What's he on FanDuel? 5,900 on DraftKings. His price doesn't reflect him.
74.
74, so
it's
a little pricey.
100 under Ertz.
Alright, so it's a little pricey. So I think that's more of a DraftKings play, but I think you can't go wrong with George Kittle. He's averaging over 18 fantasy points per game. He's just a beast. There's nothing else to say. And even if you say Mullins isn't good. Now, my thing is a tight end is a security blanket for rookies, for new quarterbacks, for young quarterbacks, for first start, second start quarterbacks. Tight end is a safety valve. George Kittle is 6'5", 280 pounds. He runs a 4.8 40. I mean, the dude's a beast. And he is on the uptick of his career. Gronk's on the downtick. Sorry I had to decline that trade. George Kittle, I think, is a top 5 with top 3 upside rest of the season. George Kittle is an absolute smash play and must play at tight end in all formats. Season League DFS. George Kittle, George
I don't
Kittle.
think Mullins is that bad. I mean, he had C.J. Beathard throwing in the ball, really.
No, but
Can't get
C.J.
that much
Beathard
worse.
and
They were
George
college
Kittle
roommates, but
were college roommates playing on the same college team, so he did have a little star in his eye for George Kittle, but
yeah.
hey, the tight end is any quarterback's best friend, unless you're one of the top guys. So
Unless you're Ryan Fitzpatrick.
yeah. Now, I do think if you want to pay down, you do have to check the injury report. But someone even cheaper than C.J. Uzama is Vernon Davis. He's $2,800 on DraftKings.
Looks better than Reed.
He does. He is playing better than Reed this year, and Reed is questionable for the first time all year. He's been healthy all year.
Surprising.
He's been healthy all year because he hasn't been used.
Yeah.
What does he get? 4 targets a game? I mean, he's not used. That's why he's staying healthy. So I do think if Vernon Davis plays, I think that's honestly a must play in cash. If you're paying down, like I said, if you want to pay up for those 2 running backs, you need a cheap play. I'd go check the injury report, but that's my saver pick this week. Vernon Davis, $2,800 on FanDuel. How much is he? I mean, DraftKings. How much is he on FanDuel?
51.
51. He's still. So that's what? That's 6 above min, right? Min is 4,500 on FanDuel, so he's just above Min's salary. It's a good pick if you want to save money. Another pick if you want to save money. Eric Ebron.
I was just gonna ask you, Ebron or Doyle more in this.
Both. Either one. Jacksonville's first against the pass, but they do struggle against tight ends. And Luck loves his tight ends. I mean, come on, he's got 2 fairly good tight ends. So
produce.
yeah, and they both produce. So I think you can't go wrong either way. I think Trey Burton is a good play against Detroit defense, 30th against the pass. I still think Allen Robinson is injured. What else at tight end? You got anything at tight end?
Ben Watson had a good week last week.
Yeah, the first week I didn't play him. He actually had a good week. Now, I'm not playing him this week, so he may go off. 31st against the pass. So, all right, moving on to defense. What do you got for defense this week? Just, I think tough. I think it's tough this week.
I like the Kansas City Chiefs playing in Arizona. It's been terrible.
3,300 on DraftKings.
They're 46.
So to pay up. It's a pay up on DraftKings too. Yeah, see me. I'm more of a pay down guy for defense. I was all over the Bills against the Jets. I know Josh McCown is playing, but whatever. Josh McCown. He was good last year, but it is his first start. Buffalo is one of the better defenses. Their team is horrible, but their defense is actually pretty decent. 27th best, so that's good. Not a bad play. Patriots, 2,700. They're a good play. Tennessee's terrible. They beat Dallas, but I mean, come on, that's not saying much. If I want to pay all the way down, I really don't see anything. Tampa Bay maybe, only because
Packers 39.
Packers
that's technically paying down. But.
Yeah, I mean, if you really, I like to bottom out in defense in cash and in GPP. So if I'm gonna pay down and I'm gonna all the way, max that budget out with the pay down, I'm gonna go Bucks. I mean, Alex Smith last week against the worst defense Atlanta didn't do much, and I don't think he's doing much against the Bucks. The Bucks are a little bit better than Atlanta, not much, but a little bit better than Atlanta, and Alex Smith just doesn't have it this year. I really don't know what happened. He doesn't have the weapons. I guess that's it. But yeah, if you want to max, max out that pay down, I think Bucks is a good defense to go. What else? Anything else at defense? Tough. Defense is tough this week.
Giants defense.
Giants defense. Oh god, that's a homer pick.
Homer pick. San Fran. Nick Mullins.
I know, but neither defense is good, and I actually think this is a shootout. I really do. I think both defenses are terrible. I really do think it's a shootout game. Nick Mullins played good, and against a shitty defense. The Giants are a shitty defense, so
Giants not that bad defense.
He's a homer guy. Don't listen to him. When it
Come
comes to the Giants, you don't listen to homer Giant fans. I love you Giant fans out there. I love all our fans out there, but you Giant fans, you guys ride that home bus a little too hard. Yeah, all right. Now, moving on. Jonathan, who is your saver of the week pick?
We were talking about him before, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. No Geronimo Allison with core surgery. I don't really trust Cobb at all. So I'm really looking at Devontae Adams and Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He's 5,400 on FanDuel, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And
5,400.
I could see him having a floor of 12 points.
Yeah, it's not a bad floor. There's a cash pick. Sees 5,000 on DraftKings. All right, yeah. That same position. I do have a few savory picks this week. I mentioned one, Vernon Davis at tight end. That you got to check the injury report. That's if Reed doesn't play. If Reed plays, I'm fading both of them. I'm off both. So let's say Reed plays. My savory pick is Deshaun Jackson on DraftKings, 4,900. He's gonna play with some emotion. If you don't like Deshaun Jackson, a lot of people don't like it. Christian Kirk, he's a nice honorable mention for a savory pick. And at quarterback, Baker Mayfield. Great matchup. He's a nice pay down. That's a DraftKings only. I believe he's 7,400 on FanDuel, so that's more of a DraftKings savory pick. So yeah, I had a few this week, but my definite smash savory pick is definitely Vernon Davis if Jordan Reed doesn't play.
What about your boy Robbie Anderson, 5,200 on FanDuel?
Yeah, I just got a bad feeling about that game. But yeah, he's not a bad GPP. That's a GPP saver pick. Robbie Anderson. He can score a touchdown from anywhere on the field.
Traquan Smith. Oh wait, no, never mind. He's not savory. Savory is 5,500 and under. He's 56.
All right, so he's right there. Traquan Smith's a nice pay down. That's still saving money. All right. Let's move on to stack attack. What is your stack attack of the week 10?
The Saints, man. Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, Traquan Smith.
All right.
They're playing Atlanta. They're playing Cincinnati. Sorry. And yeah, I think, like you said before, Cincinnati's gonna get blown out. Well, maybe not blown out, but
yeah, I think they're gonna get blown out. They're gonna get blown out. Their best player is Joe Mixon now. Okay, there's no AJ Green, so Joe Mixon's their best player, and he's got a really big uphill battle. He can catch the ball, but so can Gurley. Gurley had what, 4 catches for like 11 yards or something like that, and Gurley's nowhere near the talent of Gurley. He's faster than Gurley, but Gurley's a beast. So I don't think they're gonna play good at all. My stack attack, I got 2. I'm all over the Packers, obviously. Aaron Rodgers, MVS, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones. I'm all over them. Even Jimmy Graham on tight end. You want to play Jimmy Graham? I'm fine with that. He actually looks pretty good this year. I think he's old, but he looks pretty good this year. Another one of my stack attacks is the Chargers. And if you're stacking the Chargers, you get Melvin Gordon in there. You got to get Melvin Gordon. He's a must-play if you're going to stack that game. And I'm not stacking. I'm going a little unconventional with the Chargers. I'm stacking Melvin Gordon and Keenan Allen. That's it. That's all I'm stacking. I'm stacking those 2. No quarterback, no one else. If you want to get a nice savory in there, I think there's a Mike Williams game. So if you want to pair the 3 of them, but I'm fading. I'm not fading Rivers. I think Rivers is a good play, but I do think there are better plays at quarterback. So I'm definitely going to stack Melvin Gordon with Keenan Allen. Anything else before we close out the show?
I'm good.
All right.
I would stack the Patriots too.
Patriots.
Tom Brady, James White.
Pretty sure Patriots are always a stack attack thing. I guess so are the Packers. All right. So once again, next week we are giving away the Randy Moss jersey.
November
Please
15th.
Change your status if you subscribe to the podcast already. Please change your status from private to public so we can see your username and we can shout you out live on the podcast next week for the winner of the Randy Moss jersey.
That's your last warning.
Well, that was a little harsh. I wouldn't say last warning. I would say last chance. Last chance to put in for the drawing. Smash that subscribe button. Smash that like button. See you next week.